you can all hear me. I'm just admitting a few more people into the room. Just to let you know, I will be recording this session, so feel free if you want to keep your cameras on, or if you don't want to, again, that's totally up to you. Hopefully your images and your name won't show on the recording anyway. It should be just the screen, the slideshows, so don't worry about that. And if it is, then we won't upload it to anywhere without your consent anyway, so don't be worrying. The recordings, for the purpose of, I will email this back out to you, so if there's anything that you want to go over after the webinar, you can just rewatch it and go back over it again. Okay, so there's a few more people just joining us. Just gonna let them in and then we'll get started. So we have got quite a lot to cover in this session. LinkedIn is a very, very large area to get through. So please bear with me to try and go through it as much as I can. I'm sure you're all going to be at different stages as well. So let's get started. So just to welcome, my name is Jenny Tannett and I am one of the careers and employability trainers here in John Moores. You've probably seen me already around the university, or if you've just been in the previous webinar, you might have just seen me then. So welcome everybody if I haven't met you as well. So let's get started then. So first of all, with LinkedIn, I've already mentioned that it's going to be getting recorded. By attending this session today, the three things that hopefully you're going to be getting out of this is you're going to be able to identify what types of things you need to be including within your LinkedIn profile. So how can we make that stand out for you? The second area is how you can start to create and expand on your network, especially within the industry that you want to go into as well. That's really important with LinkedIn. And finally, how you can start searching and applying for graduate jobs using LinkedIn as well. And often people do get headhunted, so it's being in the know and in the right groups, getting to meet those people. So these are the three areas that we're really going to focus on today, just about the basics of LinkedIn. Now, some of you might be a little bit more advanced in this, but hopefully you'll be able to pick up on some of the areas maybe that you might have missed out on, or maybe that you aren't using as much as that you could be as well. So first of all, to begin with, just in case anybody is completely new to LinkedIn, what is it? So a brief overview of LinkedIn. It's basically an online networking site, so a bit like a social media, but it's more professional. So it's not about like Instagram, putting your photographs up and getting the likes. It's not that kind of social media. It's a bit more about how you can be proactive within the industry that you want to go into, sharing any research. It's also about having your own brand and doing some self-promotion and making those connections with people that you want to work with or that you aspire to be in the job role of, and so on. So it's a really, really good way of having that professional network and developing yourself further into it as well. So before we begin, I've just got a bit of a timeline on here, a little bit about LinkedIn. Now, this isn't necessarily an order that you need to complete LinkedIn in, but it's a good way for me to get into understand at what stage you will class yourself as with LinkedIn, just so I can kind of see who we've got on here today and get a feel of the things that you're hoping to get out of it. So if you can just type it into the chat box, or if you want to put your microphone on, feel free and just let me know. Would you say you're a newbie, or are you more of a pro with the LinkedIn and you're just looking for some more tips maybe? Whereabout would you say you're up to on this timeline? Have you done several elements, or are you just exploring some of these first initial ones? So let's have a little look. So we've got quite a lot of newbies. So newbies, but in the middle, lots of new, just starting profile, newbie, brilliant. Okay, so that is really, really good. So that means hopefully everything I'm going to be talking about LinkedIn, it's really going to hit home for you and you'll be able to ensure that you get the most out of it. So that is great. Okay, brilliant. So first of all, like I mentioned, the main thing that you need to look at with LinkedIn is having a really, really good profile. Now, it is really, really important that this is the area that you focus on at first, rather than starting to connect with people. And the reason being is when you start making those connections, people are going to come back and have a little look at your profile and see who you are and what types of experience you have and what you've got to offer and so on. So if your profile isn't up to date and it's not the best, then I would hold off from connecting with people just yet until you are really, really happy with it. Okay, so this profile on here is one that we use for training purposes that we've created, called Sam Jones. Feel free to connect with this profile. It is one of ours. It's only managed by our staff, so it will get changed from time to time. Have a little look at it. It'll give you some ideas on there as well, maybe things that you're missing and so on. So we'll have a little look at this together shortly. One of the main things that you do need to spend time on on your LinkedIn profile is this about section. Now, I will show you this as we go over the profile, but just to really ensure that this is something that you do need to spend some time on. It can't just be done something a quick 5 minutes. It is definitely worthwhile spending some time and thinking about. And if you think of this section here as a bit more like on your CV, when you have that very first initial opening paragraph, that is kind of what this section is about, all about you, a bit of a summary. So before we begin with this, I'm just going to come out of these slides and I'm going to take you into the LinkedIn profile for Sam Jones that we've created. So this is Sam's. And we've said Sam is a business student here in John Moores. Now, as you can see, we've got a nice profile picture of Sam and a background image as well. Now, it is really important that you do have a professional looking profile picture, and that doesn't mean go out and go and get a photograph taken by professionals. It just means like a headshot. So it's not blurred, it's not full of filters. It is actually you, and it is pretty recent as well. Although I do hold my hand up, we don't always update them as recently as what we can do, and I am one of those as well. I also need to update mine recently. But yeah, it's as much as you can, keep it updated. There's another new feature on this now as well. I think you can do it via your phone. I don't think you can do it via the website. Instead of just having a profile image, you can also upload a short 30-second video as well, which sits behind your image. That is a really, really good feature to have as well if you can do that. It's a bit like a bit of a story behind it. But I think you can do that on the phone if you've got the app. So that's worth looking at. The reason we say have an image on there, just like any other social media, you're more likely to start connecting with people and having people look at your profile when there's an actual photograph there. It's more humanized. People want to see, who is this person? What are they like? What can they do? And so on. Where when it's just left as the template, people aren't as much interested about going in and having a little look. So it's definitely worthwhile doing. If you haven't really got a useful image that I can use right now, a professional one, we are having a photographer come in tomorrow into the Student Life building. I think that is 12 till 1 in room 202. So if you do want to pop down, you can get your profile picture updated and do the little 30-second video if you would like to. Feel free to just come along to that as well. I'll be there so you can say hi. So we'll just go down a little bit more. On here, when you are setting up your profile, LinkedIn will automatically start putting your profile together for you when you sign up. So things like your name, whether you're a student, what university you go, or job that you currently have, they will already start to be within your profile and usually will come up here on your headline. This headline at the minute looks a little bit boring, and this is the first thing people will see in like a search. So if I was to search for myself, you can see like the job titles and things like that here. So this is something that you can tweak a little bit as well. So just by going onto the edit, you can start putting in a little bit more detail about yourself, not too much, but you can put in some keywords maybe that you are interested in. So I may put in, she's interested in marketing, digital marketing, and maybe some social media. Maybe that is what she wants to go into. And then I'm going to save that. When I save that, I'd have to, this would annoy me though, sorry, I'd have to go back and tweak that so it wasn't on the first line. But as you can see, that would then appear onto the second line, and it just gives people looking at her profile that little bit more about what background, what is she into, what kinds of career does she want to go into, or what she's currently in, and what her interests are as well. Now, again, this doesn't have to be just career related. Some people put in maybe if they are actually looking for a job role, or if they're actually looking for work experience. Lots of people will use their headline for that as well, to say that they're available for work and stuff. Again, this is personalized. This is completely up to you how you want to use that headline for your attention. For me, I think these keywords are really important for your career to use in your headline, because LinkedIn uses an algorithm, and what that does is it will take automatically some of these keywords from your profile, and it will allocate them and match them then to other people's profiles or job opportunities, the people that you might want to connect with, and it will like start putting things together for you and getting people to approach. That you will then appear into their posts and to say that they might want to connect with you, or it will then put maybe some other things like stories and things like that your way. So it's definitely worth using some of these keywords within your profile, and whether it's not just here, it could be further down into your profile as well. So we'll have a little look at that shortly. Okay, so I'm just going to scroll down. So this is the first thing that people is going to see, and then they're going to scroll. So what have we got next? We can leave some of these things like the things that are on there for now. And this part here is the most important one. So this is what I showed you before on the slide. Now, this here we've already set up. We've just got a couple of paragraphs in here. You can use some bullet points in there as well if you wish to. You can have it longer than this. I probably wouldn't have it any shorter. You need to make sure that you are writing a bit about you. So it could be about your experience, any achievements that you've had, maybe what modules that you've enjoyed during your course, maybe any summer placements that you've been on, if you've done any traveling, anything of interest to you. Maybe where you see yourself in the future, what types of roles that you'd like to go into, and so on. But this is something that you do really need to be spending a bit more of your time to focus on to get this information right on here. As also what I would recommend is if you're unsure and you think, oh, I can't really write much more, I'm not too sure what to say, have a little look at other people's, go on, people in the industry or people off your course, see what types of things they have got on theirs, people that you know. Feel free to have a little look at mine or any of my colleagues as well. None of us mind, but please do bear in mind if you are looking at other people's LinkedIn profiles and you haven't changed your settings, people can actually see who has been on their LinkedIn profile, and the same for you. If anyone looks on yours, you can see who has actually looked on your one as well. So yeah, just be careful on who's you're going on if you don't want them to know that you've been on it, but you shouldn't be doing that anyway. So yeah, okay. The next stage down here, I'm just going to leave this featured section for now. We'll come back to that a little bit later. Another area down here that is really important is this experience section. Now, with experience, this is just like a CV, an application form. It is going to be in reverse chronological order. I can never say that word. Reverse chronological order. And what that means is it's your most recent work experience. Now, often people go, oh, but I haven't really got any experience in that industry. I've worked in a bar. That's experience. That's really good work experience. So get that on there. You will have developed lots of skills, teamwork, communication, lots of problem solving, more than likely. Anything that you've got, any work experience, please list that on there. It's really important. Any internships, full-time work, part-time work, please get that on. If you have done volunteer work, that has its own section because that is also really, really useful and just as important, if not more. Get that on there as well. So things like course rep, fundraising volunteers. Again, if you've done anything like that, please put that in there. It could be, my one has, I volunteer in a local animal shelter. So I've got that on there for my volunteer. It doesn't have to relate to the industry or the career that you want to go into, but if it does, then brilliant. Please make sure with both of these areas that you do include the job title that you were part of, what your role was, the actual organisation of the team, and the dates that you were there. What you can then do, you can see on some of these, we'll just see more. You can also include some brief bullet points or a couple of sentences just to give an overview about the actual role. What was it that you were doing? Just so anyone who is looking at this can start to get a bit of an insight to see what your skills and what your experience are. Okay. And very, very similar to this setup is education. So again, very similar to a CV and also an application form. Again, you're just going to list your schools, college, university, your grades, and the dates on this. If you haven't got your grade yet, you can type in there your expected, and you give a bit of an overview about your modules as well, maybe what your predicted grade is or things like that. You can put those in if you would like to. Often people say, do I need to put my schools in? No, you don't have to. You might just want to put your school and a bit of an overview of the dates if you want to. This is personalised to you. So this information is only what you want to share. You don't have to put everything in if you don't want to put everything in. But it is worthwhile having some areas, whether it is just the dates and the names of the roles and stuff as well, if that is useful to have in there if you do want to start making connections. Okay, so that is like the basics of what you must include in your profile. So I would definitely say get your images on there, tweak your headline, make sure that you've spent a little bit of time on this about section, and then have a little look at the experience and the education and the volunteering. Okay, so before we lose everyone, is everyone okay with this? Have we all kind of got this information already, or is this things that might have been a little bit useful for some people before I move on? Any questions? No,
I was just wondering, so at the moment I've finished the course, but I'm not essentially a graduate yet. So what would I put in the headline for the like, would I put graduate or would I still call myself a student?
You can write final year student graduating in and tell me a little bit like that, or you could use it if you are looking for a new role. You could say graduating, looking for a new role in, and explain it. It's completely up to you. That is your headline, whatever you want to use it for.
Yeah.
You could just put your keywords in there to set off the algorithms as well. So it doesn't necessarily have to have anything about being a graduate in there. You could just have whatever it is that you're interested in as well.
Okay,
So,
thank you.
okay. Okay, so we'll carry on. But again, if you do have any questions, feel free to just drop it into the chat or just pop your microphone on. I don't want to lose anyone, so I just make sure that anyone does have any questions, just let me know. I'm finding it difficult to what to include on work experience, as my degree is policing and forensic science. So literally any work experience that you do have. So if you have got any work experience, whether it is retail, whether it is within the police, as a special, anything like that, please list the work experience. Anything that you do have, it is really, really important. As I say, like if it is an internship, anything like that, please list it on there. Another area, I'm just going to scroll down a little bit more, because the next stage that we come to is this one here, and it's called skills. Now, this is really, really important as well to have. I mentioned a little bit earlier about the algorithms within LinkedIn, and this is a great way to start triggering some of those algorithms. So by listing a range of your different skills, now you might think, what, this has got 24 skills, another 24 on top of those 3. I've only got about 5. You haven't. You've actually got lots of skills. You just haven't realized how many you've got. And it's really important that you do list between about 20 to 25 skills on here. I'm just going to show you all of the ones that we have on here for this profile. So we've got a range of different ones. If you're unsure of what skills you do have, then you can take a skills, well, it's not called skills, it's called a strengths assessment on Careers 24/7. And after this webinar, I will send you the link out to it just to give you a bit of support if that is something that you need. And that will help you to start to think about what strengths you have, and also any areas that you might need to develop that a little bit further. If you are happy and you know what skills you already have, you can just start adding them in. Now, if you're unsure of some, a bit of a cheat way to do this for some ideas as well of what your skills might be, you can type in just a letter A, and it will give you a range of different skills with the A in or B, and just go through them that way and have a little look at which ones are your skills if they're not automatically standing out to you. So that is a good way to do that as well. And like I say, we'll just save this one and we'll save it for her. So there we go. So we've done that one. Another thing that we can do with skills is other people can endorse them. So as you can see on this one, we've had this one endorsed by someone. So I'm just going to click it. And what that means is this person here, Charlotte, has also agreed that our Sam Jones has got that skill. So the more people that give you an endorsement for those skills, it's basically not a mini reference, but it's a way of saying, yes, that person is definitely very, very good at that skill and has actually got that skill. They can prove it because all these people have also said it. So it's really worthwhile having those skills in there and trying to get those endorsed by people as well. Another really, really useful thing to do is take the skills quiz. Now, this isn't a skills quiz for you to find out what skills you have. The LinkedIn skills quiz is slightly different, so don't be confused by this one. This one is really, really good. Once you have identified what your skills are, you can then take a mini assessment. It's got 15 questions that are multiple choice, and it is timed. I think you get 2 minutes per question. And once you have completed it, you get to pick which topic you want to do it on. So for example, PowerPoint, 1.5 minutes per question. Sorry, I was out a little bit there. Once you do start it, you'll go through all of it, and then when you get to the end, it will tell you if you are successful, if you were past it. So if you were in, I think it's the top 30% of the scores, and they will reward you with a digital badge. Now, this is really, really useful, and the reason being is when you do start applying for jobs via LinkedIn, those digital badges will already be on your profile as well, so those employers can see those digital badges. Now, this isn't something that's often done by people, so it is definitely worthwhile having a go at, and it isn't easy. You might think you are really good on PowerPoint, but you will be surprised. Some of these questions aren't always easy. But what it will then also do is if you don't pass it, so if you are unsuccessful, It will also open up a LinkedIn Learning for you for free to go on and try to improve in those skills as well. And it doesn't show in your profile that you haven't successfully completed it. I think you get 3 attempts. So it is definitely worthwhile to have a go at doing the 3 attempts to try and get that digital badge. Okay. Has anyone got any of these digital badges so far? Is this all new to people, or has anyone got a digital badge? No. If you haven't, it's definitely worth a try. Another area on here is this one called recommendations. Now, our lovely Charlotte has already done this again for me. And with this one, this is something that I'm going to show you a little bit later how to do. But this is just a great way on your profile of having a mini reference on there from somebody already that you've worked with. So straight away, your employers, if they're looking through your profile, they can already see a bit of an overview about you from somebody who you've previously worked with. So having some recommendations is really, really useful to have on your profile. Okay, so any questions before I move on to the next one? Oh, brilliant, Molly, you're ahead of the game. Well done. Okay, so I'm just going to pop back over to my slides. So for this next one, a couple of things that I've already mentioned on here to enhance your profile. There's other things called like achievements on there. So you can just add a section into your profile. So if you've earned a certificate or when you graduate, you can put that onto there as well if you want to upload certificates. But they could be for other things. You could be doing some LinkedIn Learning activities. If you've got any short skills, any courses that you've been doing outside of university, please list all of those as well. They are really, really important. As well as this, I've mentioned a couple of these other areas, but if you do have a blog or any links to your social media, if you've got your own business, anything like that that you are actively using and you do update regular, then please add into those links as well. And you can highlight those within the featured area as well of your profile, so it stands out even more. It will be in there then. And if that is the start and section of your profiles, that is really, really good place to have it. So the next area we're going to have a little look at is how you then go about and start to create your network. Now, there's different ways to create your network within LinkedIn. First of all, you can start off by connecting with people that you already know. So you can connect with me, you can connect with people on your course, your lecturers, people that you've previously worked with, all of those, and so on. You can reach out to other potential connections for people that you don't know. If you add in the LJMU page on LinkedIn, there's a filter button on there that you can search for alumni from your course from previous years. You might want to have a little look and see what they're currently doing, how their career path panned out. Often connecting with alumni as well, they will often let you then know about job opportunities coming up. So it's really, really worthwhile to try and make some of those connections. You can follow organisations. So if you know there is specific organisations that you're really interested in working for, type them in, start following them, find out about their opportunities and keep up to date with things that they're doing. So what is relevant within that industry. So especially if you're going for interviews, it's a good way of staying up to date with them as well. And joining some groups as well. Having a group, if you're not part of a group on LinkedIn, I would definitely recommend joining some groups that are of interest to you. It's a great way of meeting people with similar interests and also, again, staying part of what's happening within that industry. So I'm just going to show you how to do some of these things that I'm talking about. So in your network, you can have a little look. So this profile's only currently got 31 connections. Follows 3 hashtags. So just like other social media, you can follow the hashtag. That is a great way, again, if you're following the likes of Graduate Jobs 2022 or things like that, then they will appear onto your news feeds and you'll be the first to find out about them. So it's definitely worth having a little look at following some hashtags. If you want to follow some specific people, so for example, I'm just going to clear this off a little minute and I'm just going to type my name in. So if I wanted to connect with myself, so click on me, have a little look, see what we've got down here. I think that is definitely me. I can either view my full profile or connect. Now, when you do connect with people, please try not to just hit the send button. I always recommend adding a note. Just let them know we spoke on your webinar, or my typing's awful here. Spoke on your webinar. and whatever it is that you want to ask. Maybe you haven't met, but you're just really interested in how they got to their career pathway that they've done, and would like to talk about their career journey and so on. It's a lot more personalized when people receive a message to connect rather than just pressing the send button. So I would recommend doing that if possible. Okay. Another way that you can do is to follow a page. So I'm just going to type in LGMU Student Futures. So this is our page on here, so you don't miss out on anything. And to find a page is just the same if you know the name of the page or some kind of information about it, and then you can just hit the follow button, and then this page will also then appear within your newsfeed. And that is the same as well for, apologies, there's a big dog barking outside. That is also the same for an organisation. If you're looking for an organisation to follow as well, that is all you would need to do. Another thing that you can do is actually search for a group. So for this one, we know that Sam Jones is really interested in marketing. So I'm just going to type marketing in there. And this time, instead of looking for people or a job, I'm just going to look at groups. So I type into that, and I'm just going to scroll down. I think she'll like this one because she likes digital marketing. So I'm going to have a little look at this. Let's hope she's not already a member of this one. No, she's not. So I can see how many members this group has currently got. I can have a little bit of a read. Do I think this group would be really useful for me? And so on. I can see who admins are. These would be very interesting for Sam. She'd like to also get into these type of roles and so on. So we put in a join request. If they accept it, what that then allows is Sam Jones to be able to connect with all of these other members. She'll be able to like or comment on the posts that people are making within the group, which we can't see currently because we're not part of it. But when we are, they will all be on here as well. And what is that? That is then going to do is going to open up her network even wider within the industry that she wants to go into. So it's a really, really good way of just starting to hone in on what it is that you're looking for and starting to develop those connections already. Because often what we find is, just because we're interested in a certain area, it doesn't mean that we know lots of people already within that area. So it's just trying to branch out into it a little bit further. I also mentioned before about connecting with alumni. So I'm just going to show you how to do this because it is a really, really useful way. If it's going to let me do it. Let's see. Okay, so let me have a little look. So I'm just going onto the Jan Moores page on LinkedIn. And then if you scroll here, you will see it says alumni. And if you click onto that, you can type in whatever it is that you're studying and maybe the years that you would like to search. And it will show you all of the different people where they currently live in or where they currently work and so on. So it's definitely worthwhile having a little look, and it will show you some people that you might know from the courses and so on. So maybe, for example, you wanted to go in and work in Amazon. It might be that you have a little look on Amazon, see who now works there and so on, and connect with them. So it is a really, really good way of making those connections. Okay, any questions about any of this, creating a network, before I move on to our next one? Would you include links in the about section? Not necessarily. I probably wouldn't. It depends what those links in the about section are about. And some bit of a mouthful, that one. I would say if it is your personal, like if you've got a business or if it is for your blog, I would have them in their own one. They have actually got their own one, and then you can highlight those within the featured section. I wouldn't necessarily put them within your summary of the about section. Any questions about the networking? No? If you do, feel free just to drop them in whenever you can. Okay, so the next one that we're going to have a little look at is how you can start engaging with people. And so once you've built up all of those connections, you can then start to, make conversations, join in the group discussions. You can share on any articles or any other posts that you do find. You can give endorsements and recommendations to other people as well. So don't just expect them. Feel free to give them to other people. Create your own content. Now, this can often be very daunting, especially if you're not very confident at making a post and you're not a regular social media content creator. Then this can often be a little bit overwhelming for some people. start off small, like someone's post, maybe reshare it, have a little go at creating your own post and tagging some people in it. Always try to include an image or a video to get that engagement up a little bit more as well. So that is a really, really good way of just starting to get active. The next thing that you can start doing, if you would like to, is to start searching and applying for jobs. Now, I would say there is 4 stages to this. So first of all, follow the organisation that it is that you'd like to work for, or if you've done a job search, follow, and there's one that you're going to apply for, definitely follow them on LinkedIn. Do your research about them, read up on their posts, what's been happening within that organisation. Still look on the websites and things, but definitely look on their LinkedIn, see who works there. You can actually see the staff who are currently employed there or who have previously been employed there as well. Connect with some of these people. It might be that you already know some already and you didn't realise that they work there. Connect with them. And then finally, make sure that you do apply. And through LinkedIn, there is an option called Easy Apply. Has anyone used the Easy Apply option on LinkedIn? Has anyone actually applied for a job on LinkedIn before? Just interesting to find out. I'll let you type it into the chat while I just go back to LinkedIn. It's a very quiet group, this one. No, not yet. Okay. Right, so I'll show you how to do it. So if you just click into jobs and you want to do a search, you could type in already if you wanted to. So maybe she's interested in social media marketing. And if we type this in, what's going to happen is it will come up with a range of different jobs, just like any normal search engine would. And the same thing, we can set an alert. So if somebody does post a job with these keywords in there, then what will happen is you will get sent an email or whatever it is on your preference settings that you've already, if it's a text message or just on your app, then what will happen is you'll be alerted to them. So it's really, really worthwhile to set some alerts on here for job opportunities. You don't need to set one alert. You could have 10 different ones on there for different keywords or different areas, maybe if you're looking for moving, things like that as well. So I would really recommend having an alert on. Once you've looked at the different job opportunities available, you'll see on here, some of them will have this button called In Easy Apply. Now, this isn't the same as having just a normal apply. So you can see the 2 differences. So a normal apply button, this will usually just take you straight to their website and you will follow their normal recruitment process via CV or application form and so on. But with the In Easy Apply, what this can do is, this is basically you're given permission to the employer to then use your LinkedIn profile as your application. So please make sure that your profile is completely up to date and relevant to the role as well. So use some of your keywords, the skills that also match into this role. Have a little look through the job description as well. They might also ask for you to still complete an application form and a CV or one or the other, but sometimes they don't, and it is just the profile. So definitely make sure your profile is up to date before you press apply on there as well. You can filter these job searches down even more if you wanted to. So if you are only looking for remote work or just the Easy Apply ones. So yeah, you have got all of this information to just like a normal search engine, so you can change these over if you want to. Another thing I'm going to show you just as well, lots of people are now tending to include their LinkedIn onto their CVs when applying for jobs. So if your profile is all up to date, but you don't want to apply via LinkedIn, you're just going through the traditional route through their websites or Indeed and things like that, but you do want to include your URL to your LinkedIn, please make sure that it is clear. So hopefully you can see this. My URL here for Sam Jones has got a load of different numbers at the end. Now, this doesn't look very professional on a CV. So what I would recommend doing is when you're on your profile, just click in Edit Public Profile and URL. And then over here on the side, you can change this down. So sometimes you can't just have your name if somebody else has got a lovely name like yourself. So you might have to put a middle name in, or maybe a number or some space or things like that, and then save it. And then what this is then going to do is it will just update it for you. And have a little look. And there it is. So it just looks a little bit nicer going onto your CV as well. Any questions so far? Anything? No? Another thing that you can do, but you can only do this one via the app, is have a QR code. Now, some people will have their QR codes on their email address. Now, I have mine at the bottom of my email on my template. Some people like to put the QR codes onto their CVs if you're printing them off or sending them over that way instead of having the URL. But you would have to go through your mobile phone to set it up this way. I will send you all of these slides out as well. So please don't feel like you've got to make lots of notes about all of this information. I will send all of these out for you. Okay. So some top tips then, just as a bit of a recap for you, please keep your profile up to date. So any extra work experience that you've been doing, any qualifications or achievements, post about them. Tell us what you have been doing. If you've just been on a course, you can post today. If you've been on this webinar, tag me into it, tag people in, and it will increase your engagement with people as well, and often more connections. Make those connections, follow those organizations, join some groups as well. Get active with the posts, whether you don't want to make your own just yet if you're not too confident, but please share other people's and add comments to theirs. This is really, really important. It will, you know, often people will then approach you and connect with you as well, not just you connecting with them. If you haven't heard of it or you haven't signed up to it already, we are running a LinkedIn challenge. We'd love you to be part of it. And this is the first one that we'll be running. And it's going to have, it's a 4-week thing. It will be run over the 4 weeks. It's about 30 minutes a week to do the challenge. You'll have different instructions, different tasks to complete each week. And what that will do is it will help you to become a lot more confident in yourself using LinkedIn. So things like joining groups, making a post, not necessarily applying for jobs, but looking how to search for them and so on. So there's lots of really useful things in there. So it will help you to build that confidence and knowledge up. And the more you use LinkedIn, the more things become a habit and it will become a lot easier for you to use as well. This time we do have a chance of winning a £50 Love to Shop voucher as well. So not only will you become a lot more confident using your LinkedIn, you can also have a chance to win the voucher. And also by completing the full 4 weeks, you will receive our LJMU LinkedIn Challenge digital badge to use within your profile as well. So it's definitely worth joining. I will send you the information at the end of this webinar as well to follow the instructions through that. If you do want to take part, it'd be great to see you on there. And as I've already mentioned as well, if you do want to pop in tomorrow to get your profiles updated, or if you want me to just have a little look at your LinkedIn with you in person rather than online, and come in and have a little chat with me as well, because I will be there to support anyone. Has anyone got any questions? Anything that you want me to go back over, or anything I've not covered that you thought I might have? No, this is a very quiet group. No. Okay, if you are looking for any further support, you can book in with us or just give us a call, and we can support you there. Yeah, there's lots of help available for graduate CVs. You can, again, like I've just mentioned on here, if you can contact any of these, you can book in to get a CV reviewed. You can go onto our careers 24/7. I will send you the link out for this as well, and you can do something called our CV 360, and you basically upload your CV and it will do lots of instant checks for you, or you can make an appointment to see one of our advisors and they can go through that for you as well. How to include the section for the links. Okay, let me have a little go. Let's have a little look. I'll just do this one for you. So on the links, if you haven't got a section down here, so this is the featured part I was saying, but if you haven't got that section to include any links, what you can do up here at the top, it's got add a profile section. And if you click on additional, there, oh, my screen's at the bottom. Sorry. Oh, it's gone. This is what LinkedIn likes to do a lot. They'll have something on there and then all of a sudden they'll change it. Where is our links one gone? Right, it looks like they've taken that off. It could be contact info maybe now. There we go. So it looks like they've just reworded things. So if you wanted to put your contact info, if you've got a website, you could put that on there. They used to have one for a blog as well, but it doesn't seem to be in there. If that's the case then, and you do want to put it into your summary, then yeah, I would probably then, if it's a personal stuff like that, I will put them into your summary, because it seems like they've taken that one away from there now. Let me just bear with me, because there was one on here. I wonder why they've decided to remove it, because it was a really, really good feature. Nope, that's gone. No, I think you probably would have to, unless you put it in that contact information now. But yeah, unfortunately, I don't know why they've removed that section. That one's gone. Oh, sorry, somebody mentioned as well before about the recommendations. So if you have got a person already who you've worked for previously and you want to get a recommendation, it's really easy. So you can just press the plus sign and you can ask for a recommendation from someone. So for example, I've worked previously with Vicky Farrell. I've just done a webinar with Vicky. So maybe she's managed me. You select all of these different things and you would just write a little message in and press send. It's that easy. And then once they've done it, if they do want to do it, then that will then appear here at the bottom. And any that you give for other people as well will also appear there if you wrote any for other people. So hopefully, I think I've answered everybody's questions. I'm just going to go back through this. So I haven't done much internships in my field. Will careers help? Yes, internships, definitely. If you haven't signed up with Unitemps, I would recommend signing up with our Unitemps. They are based in Student Life Building, or you can do it online as well. We've got lots of internships with them, and also Graduate Futures as well. Charlotte on here is also part of Graduate Futures, so you can have a little look on her profile and maybe connect with her, and she'll be able to help you a little bit more with that as well. I think I've covered everything, but any other questions? If not, good luck. Thank you for joining me today, and hopefully I might see a couple of you tomorrow.